Caller, what's your name? Where you call from?
I'm Chad from Nebraska.
Hi there. How you doing tonight?
I'm great. Good to talk to you, Ike.
Good to talk to you. What do you got? You got a best worst story for us? You want to comment on something?
I got a pretty horror story. It's all right.
All right.
It was a couple years ago. Well, it's been back in like 2012. Me and my best buddy, we go fishing like 5 nights a week during the work week, and this one night we were out there fishing. It was probably about March, kind of cold, and as the sun was going down, my buddy caught about a 6-pound bass, and I hadn't got a bite all night, and we forgot the phone to take a picture, and he put it back in the water, and I was making fun of him, like, I didn't see anything, and he's like, yeah, right, that was a big one. I was like, no, that was a tiny one. I'm not saying nothing to nobody. You didn't catch nothing, and I was talking shit, and I leaned back in my seat. We're on a John boat, and I leaned back in my seat, and the seat came loose, and I went backwards into the water, and the water's probably about 40 degrees. Went backwards into the water, did a roll, come back out. I lost my. I had about a 300 rod and reel combination that was in my hands at the time, and it went in the water. Come back out, and I got back up in the boat and sat down, got the seat back, and one of the screws came loose under the seat, and I felt something going on with my neck, and I couldn't turn my head, and I was wet, and it was freezing out. Sun was going down. I'm just like shocked and cold. So we get back, load the boat up, and I just could not move my neck at all. Like, I spent all night, I could not sleep all night, and so I went to the doctor the next morning, and they took x-rays. I popped a vertebrae out, and so I ended up having a cast put on, and a couple weeks later ended up losing my job because the nurse didn't send in the doctor's note.
Oh my God!
So I lost my job, and I went broke for a couple weeks. But my buddy that I was with, he felt pretty bad, and so he got me hooked up with a job from a lady down the street, and I do construction work also, and so I went and worked on her house. And a few weeks later, I got an addition to build, and I've been in business ever since on my own. But so it kind of worked out for the best. But
wow,
that was one of my horror stories.
You had a chance at winning until the end.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. I shouldn't have been I shouldn't have been running my mouth.
Mike, what do you think? Consolation?
I think that's a prize. I think that's a prize. I mean, that's
no. He has to earn the consolation prize.
You have to earn the is there another question?
All right, so Chad.
What's that?
Okay,
hey, Chad.
We're gonna give you a chance. I think you deserve a prize regardless, but we're gonna give you a chance to win a constellation prize, which tonight happens to be an autographed hat. Go ahead, Dave. What do you got?
Oh,
So, Chad,
yeah.
we have a new segment, and they are scenario situations, and there's going to be 2 potential questions. One would be, what would Pete do, and the other would be, what would Ike do? And they are hypothetical scenarios that may or may not have happened. All right.
Funny. That's funny.
Do you want to give him a choice, or?
Yeah. What would you rather do? Would you rather do Ike or Pete?
I've been watching Ike a lot more than Pete, so I'll do Ike.
All right. Scenario situation. You're Mike Iaconelli, and you're walking in the Pine Barrens with your good friend.
Or the Poconos.
And you, as Mike Iaconelli, see a massive swarm of bees coming out of an old tree stump.
Okay.
Did you, A, say, Brian, let's get the fuck out of here, there's a bunch of bees? Or did you, B, just sprint without telling your best friend that the impending doom was on its way?
And leave him there to die.
And leave him there to get about 1,000 stings. What did you do?
I don't see Ike doing that. I'd go with A.
Yeah, well, you're wrong.
Whoa, whoa.
Brian, do you care to tell the story?
I even warned you.
Go ahead, Mike. You tell the story. You watched it happen.
All right, I got to tell you, it's a little sad. It's a little sabotage the way you set it up now, because this is an actual scenario. Let me preface it by saying we were trout fishing. It's nice that we had Larry on tonight.
Yeah, how about that?
We were fishing for trout in the Pocono Mountains. We climbed the face of a bluff cliff, and we were going to see if we could jump in the deep pool below the waterfall from this top of this cliff. And so we just put our rods down. It was a hot day. We climbed all the way up there, And we get up there and we're kind of looking down at it, kind of debating on whether this is safe to make this jump. It's probably 50 feet at a minimum. And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, I like feel something like crawling around in my head. And I have a hat on. I feel something crawling around my head, and I grab it, and I kind of have it in my hand. And from there, it became slow motion. And I opened up my hand, and it was a yellow jacket. And I kind of like looked at it and looked at Brian and kind of laughed at first.
We both laughed.
Yeah, we both laughed like, and then all of a sudden, I just kind of heard, zzz, and I felt one get me. Someone got me somewhere, and my instinct was to just take off. I just knew all of a sudden the noise. And the one that stung me, I knew something bad was about to happen. So I just took off. But you knew. You saw the yellow jacket in my hand.
I was one spot behind you on the trail out.
You were one spot behind me.
And I think like the chick that dies in the movie, I think I slipped when I went to run. Because it was a slight incline. It was like muddy, and I think I slipped. It's all it took, dude.
Wow.
They were on me. And you remember 20-something bee stings.
Oh, you were loaded with them.
Tell what happened when you got to the bottom with him.
Here's what I remember. I don't remember at the bottom. I remember, dude, you were a mess. I remember on the way home. I don't remember what happened at the bottom. I remember on the drive home, he was so swollen, and he was like a mummy. He couldn't even move.
Oh, man.
But I was still picking yellow jackets out of his Brillo pad hair the entire way home. For an hour drive home, I was picking them out of his hair.
I remember hearing that you ran and was hiding in that water.
I did.
And when Brian finally got down to the water, it was like an old Western where he gets shot and he staggers into the horse bucket, and falls into the horse bucket.
I did.
Like, yeah, he and like fell in the water.
And he had so many holes in it from the stings.
Dude.
The water was just bubbling out of
He
him.
didn't fucking die, man.
Wow, that's a true story.
I did.
Chad, thank you for the call. Hang on, we're gonna get your information. We're gonna give you the consolation prize anyway. So
all right, I appreciate that.
Hang on the line. We're gonna get your information. Thanks for calling, man. That was a great story. That really happened.